Business Insights on Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson.
Have you ever wanted to unlock and heal your subconscious business blocks? Even the most accomplished businesswoman can hit a wall, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because they're doing everything right. My guest, Cheryl Stelte, is going to be chatting with us about unlocking authentic power and healing subconscious blocks for business breakthroughs. Now, Cheryl is a spiritual coach, master energy healer, speaker, and best-selling author of From Blocked to Powerful, The Spiritual Guide to Unlocking Inner Clarity and Authentic Power. She is the founder of the Star of Divine Light Institute and creator of the Azarius Energy Healing Certification Program. With over 30 years of experience guiding others through deep spiritual and energetic transformation, Cheryl now focuses on supporting business owners, especially women and healers, who feel blocked or misaligned despite all the personal work that they've done. She helps them access and clear the deepest subconscious and energetic patterns that keep them playing small or stuck so they can move forward with clarity, confidence, and authentic power. Cheryl, it is such a pleasure to meet you. Welcome to Talking with the Experts.
Oh, thank you, Rose. I'm thrilled to be here.
So please, how did you get into all this work that you're doing, helping female business owners become unstuck?
Well, I would work with business owners occasionally, but it was after I wrote my first book. So I've written 3 books, but after the first one, I was working with a lot of women and I started to get coaches. And I'd be in different groups and they'd say, well, how do you get your clients? And I'm like, I don't know, they kind of fall out of the sky. And they wanted some of that. So I'm very fortunate, and I've developed the capacity to see energy. So I do chakra readings. I now do business chakra readings, so I can do a reading on you through the lens of your business. It's really so insightful. And what happened with the first, few coaches that I worked with, they didn't have any clients and they were trying to form groups and they were failing miserably. One woman had one group and then she was at it for about 10, 11 months. Her credit cards were maxed and she was like, I might have to get a job and I don't want to get a job. And then the other one, she had been trying to form a group for 18 months, but she still had, some other work that she was doing. And both of them within 6, 7 weeks had their groups formed, deposits paid, and they were off to the races. So I can see where the blocks are, and it's just a matter of helping you unblock those blocks, and you can get going. And then what I found is, I started to attract healers. I'm a healer, and so many healers don't want help. They think that because they're the healer, they can do it all themselves, and so they're not interested. But it's really, and so many of the business owners that I've noticed that I'm working with today, it's about moving to that next level of business. I just did a business chakra reading for a woman who has 3 businesses on the go, and one is her passion project. She's like, this is my purpose, but it's the one that doesn't make her much money. So she feels she has to keep going with the other 2. So we did the reading and she was just blown away with the clarity. Now she knows what she needs to do. And I could go on, but it was very accidental. I never thought, oh, I'm going to work with business women because I'm a businesswoman myself. But I don't think of myself as an expert in business because my business allows me to do the work I want to do. Nobody's going to hire me and pay me for the work I do. So I'm a business woman, but I am an expert at removing those blocks that we don't know what they are to get you going with the clarity that you're so looking for.
Yeah, and it's important to know what the blocks are because you can be in business for a really long time and not have much success financially. But, you're well known, your name's out there, people know who you are, they know what you do. So there's obviously some impediment somewhere that is preventing people from actually buying from you. So why is feeling stuck after personal growth not a failure? And what are the signs that you are ready for some deeper alignment and further growth?
What happens when we reach a certain level in success? And this is not my first business. I had a spiritual interior design business. When we reach a certain level of success, we move more into our light. We're growing. Curly photography has proven that we have light. And so if you think of it this way, then the light starts to shine on the darkness. It's the direction, it's actually a sign of success, points you at what needs to be healed, what needs to be cleared, so you can continue to grow, expand your business, evolve, move in the right direction. So if you're feeling flat, unfulfilled, your business just isn't as exciting as it used to be, you likely have some subconscious blocks that are ready to move. Because we experience the great success, and then there's often for a lot of women, it comes along at some point that it's like, whoa, this isn't doing it for me anymore. And
Yeah,
so sometimes we think, oh, I'll do something different. I'll try something else. And it
yeah,
doesn't.
absolutely. And Cheryl, what are some of those blocks that we have that we are not aware of? How can we find out what they are and work through them?
Well, there's two questions. The how can we find them? And so I'd love to explain that. There's three relatively easy steps that you can do the work. You can also, sign up for a business chakra reading with me, and I'll let you know what everything is. But I find there's four main subconscious blocks that stall us, that keep us from moving forward. And they're not necessarily in this order. They're all subconscious beliefs that are formed from repressed emotions early in childhood and as early as in the womb. And so they are, I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough. I don't matter. I can't tell you how many women in business have this subconscious belief. So they build the business based out of the womb that I do matter, and then it'll hit them. So I don't matter. I'm unworthy. And so when you're talking about the women who are well known and they're doing their work, but they're not, there's usually an unworthiness wound going on in there. And then I'm unlovable. Those are the four main ones, and there's many branches. I'm not wanted. Um, Nobody wants what I have. We don't realize those are playing on in the background.
Mm, yeah, that can be true for a lot of us, I guess. One or any of those or many of those could be, what's preventing us from moving forward. And there are hidden energetic and subconscious patterns that block high achieving women from, stepping into their next level. So how can we learn how these blocks often originate in early childhood?
Well, what happens, the number one trauma, and it's classified as trauma today, that I would say all of my clients experienced in early childhood, they didn't have much of an emotional resource. They didn't have someone to turn to with their emotions, someone who would listen to them and understand them and make their emotions okay. Most of us were taught to stuff our emotions. Nobody's really there for us. We're kind of on our own. And today, that is classified as trauma. It's the silent, sort of hidden trauma that is not always even recognized by the best therapists. It's the ongoing trauma that goes on with us. And, back in my day, I'm in my early 60s, and it wasn't a thing. So it's not like our parents were bad parents. Sure, there's other issues, whatever it is, but just that one thing, nobody was there for them. And so it's passed on. Whereas now, today, it's the in thing to talk about your emotions, share your emotions. Let's unpack this. Let's clear this up. We do all these things, but it also really often starts in the womb. And it's where the mother is fearful of having this child. It could be an unwanted child, the marriage or the partner they're with, there's fear, that sort of thing. And there's research today just being shown. But to me, the best definition of trauma, it's not so much what happened, it's the lingering feelings of uncertainty. So that could be sexual abuse, abuse of any sort, that sort of thing. But science has proven that trauma is encoded in the right side of the brain, the subconscious, through physical sensations and emotions, not through linear memories. So you don't even have to remember. And if you do remember anything, it's always in fragments. It's just in pieces. And so I would love to share with you a way to help you go back into your subconscious so you can find what's going on.
Oh, please do. Please do.
All right. So if you just I always think of the ace of spades, if you've ever played cards. So the word ace, it's my ACE method. A is for access. You have to be able to access. C is for clear. You want to clear that block that's in there. And the best part, E is for empowerment. So you can actually reprogram your subconscious mind. So you turn around and you're different. There's no mindset work required. Mindset work helps, but it's at a much more superficial level. You want to go deep. And it's one of the things so many of my clients say, Cheryl, nobody goes as deep as you. So it's like, let's get down to the root. So access, the first thing you want to do is you want to breathe with your lower abdomen. So I invite you right now, Rose, and anyone listening, put your hand on your lower abdomen with your thumb at about the level of your navel. And you can close your eyes and just focus and breathe there with long, full, deep breaths. So let your whole belly relax. There's no sucking your gut in here. And you inhale and let your belly expand out. And you exhale and you squeeze your abdominal muscles to expel all the air. So you keep doing that just for a little bit while I'm talking. And the reason this works, it changes the brain function. So as we are all sitting here, listening, talking, we're using the back of the brain stem to breathe. But as soon as we engage the abdominal muscles, that function moves to the frontal lobal brain and it frees up the back of the brain stem or the medulla oblongata, which helps give us access to our subconscious. So this kind of meditation is not about getting rid of all thoughts. You don't even have to call it meditation if you don't want. Sit in a chair, sit up straight with your spine straight, and breathe in this way. And you can think of anything current in your business today. Somebody said something that upset you. This one launch of yours isn't going your way, or you have an evergreen program that's not working out, whatever it is. And you can start there, whatever isn't working for you, or even just this feeling of flat, unmotivated, and unfulfilled. So you start there and you breathe into whatever's going on. You can think of the situation and then you breathe through the emotions. And eventually you can move into what I call following the emotional thread. So you feel the top emotion, let's say it's anger. Then you go underneath, oh, there's actually sadness that this didn't work out because it meant so much to you. And then there's another emotion, and it could go to two of the deepest emotions with trauma are confusion and shame. And who would think confusion? But often when kids are traumatized through not having an emotional resource or something went wrong, they always feel confused. So they get confused when they feel confused. It doesn't make sense. But you can follow those back, follow your emotions down, and then you invite your subconscious to go back to when this pattern first began. When did you first feel this? And so your subconscious will take you back early, and it might not in the beginning phases, but later on, you definitely will go back and you'll discover you could have been a year and a half old, just 1.5. And you are experiencing this. So you can allow yourself, you imagine that you're that little toddler and you feel those emotions. So you process them. You allow yourself to process those emotions. And then to clear, you keep feeling them. And then you ask the little toddler, so what did you decide is true from this? What did you believe from these emotions? And the little toddler will always tell you, you're not making it up, and you'll be surprised. It's like, whoa. And so then you can work with the toddler, you can reparent. So you go back and forth. That's the deeper work. Until the little toddler in you releases all the emotions. And then what is true is more of your true self. I just had a woman not that long ago, and she just discovered she felt like she was never living her life for herself. Her business, everything she's done was always for everybody else, nothing for her. And she released all the trauma and the block around that. She was really living for her mother. And she knew that she would be doing that since she was in the womb. And we released it, and she realized that she was just a bright, shining light, and she came here to shine her light. And she switched her business, everything. And then what you do, then you continue with the breath, and whatever is true for you, the new emotions of joy and excitement and why you're here, that sort of thing. Then you start to breathe those into your subconscious, and that's the reprogramming. And then you turn around, and so much is just different. And you just start to see your business is different. You get the clarity, and you know what to do next and how to move forward. And you're more in alignment.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And we'll all walk away with a new understanding about, our resistance and the skills that we have that we can claim our clarity and our fulfillment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it works. And it takes some practice, just like anything. But I've been doing it for almost 32 years, every morning meditating in this fashion. And I developed it over the years. It just works.
Sounds like it does. I may have to start doing that myself and get rid of some blocks that I have at the moment in moving forward. If you want to find out more about Cheryl, you can find her on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and her website at starofdivinelight.com. And she's offering a meditation. Cheryl, do you want to discuss with us about that?
Yes, it's actually a group of 3 meditations. So the first 2 are helping you work with the breath. And I just got an email yesterday from a woman who just shared with me an experience she had just from doing that and just sitting in it. But the third meditation is my most listened to meditation, and it's creating safety and stability in the root chakra. And you don't have to meditate in the chakras, but it helps give you a focal point, and meditating, bringing your focus down to the root chakra, which is all about safety and stability and moving into trust and faith. Trust and faith that, and that's the next level of it. And so those 3 meditations are in one lovely package for you. So that's what you'll be getting today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Cheryl, is there something else that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yes, I would like to say, if you can take this home, just breathe this into your heart, breathe this into your being, that you are all powerful beyond belief. Let that in. You're powerful beyond what you can currently imagine.
It's pretty strong stuff. Cheryl, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you, Rose. It's really an honor.
Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time.